It's time for an update on the TikTok ban. What's going to happen with it? The Supreme Court, whether Joe Biden is going to enforce it on the 19th of January, on Sunday, just before the inauguration, what Donald Trump may or may not do with it, and where the TikTok users are going. Hint, the law of unintended consequences. They're flocking to an actual app in China called Rednote, named after Chairman Mao's Little Red Book, as an alternative to TikTok. I'm Michael Popak. You're on Legal AF and on the MeidasTouch Network. Let me catch you up. We got a few more days until the inauguration. I've been following the TikTok story all the way through the United States Supreme Court oral arguments about a week ago to see if they would step in and stop what is a law on the books by Congress, bipartisan, to compel and force effectively the Chinese Communist Party, which owns and controls ByteDance, to sell TikTok to a non-Chinese owner. Reason? National security. That argument went over well by the Biden administration in front of a receptive United States Supreme Court about a week or so ago. I covered it on Legal AF, the YouTube channel, and on a show I do with Dina Dahl called Unprecedented. Everybody from the alt-right wing of the Supreme Court to the Democratic wing of the Supreme Court all agreed with, effectively, I think, the government's position advocated by Joe Biden, Solicitor General, that this was a national security risk to continue to have TikTok owned effectively by the Chinese government, and that it would have to be sold and that the ban was lawful. We're already now a week into this and just days away from the law going into effect on Sunday. The Biden administration has come out just in the last 24 hours and let it be known that they are not going to enforce in the 24-hour period between Sunday and Monday and the inauguration. They are not going to, quote unquote, enforce the law, meaning they're going to leave it as a political hot potato to Donald Trump as the incoming head of the executive branch to implement the law. Now, that may sit not well with everybody because we know what Donald Trump's going to do. I mean, he's effectively has the ByteDance chairman, the president of TikTok, who works for his bosses in the Chinese party, sitting on his lap in a VIP section at the inauguration, along with having invited the premier of China to come to the inauguration. And he's already been public, Donald Trump, in telling the American people that he doesn't see a problem with TikTok anymore. He used to. He was pushing for the ban when he was president, but now that he has a major donor that's part of his inner circle, that's a ByteDance investor, and he thinks that helped get him elected. And his son Barron, who's 18, 19 at NYU, seems to be a big advisor for him. It's sort of like Fredo advising the Godfather, but let's leave that aside for a minute. That he was convinced by his son that TikTok is where it's at, and podcasts are where it's at, and he thinks that's how he got elected president. So he's all aglow with TikTok. Even the Solicitor General for Joe Biden, in answering a question posed to her by either Kavanaugh or Gorsuch on the Supreme Court, said she had to admit, yeah, it's up to the executive branch, the president's branch, to execute on this law. And if they don't, there's not much else we can do. You can try to sue to force it, and that's where the lawsuits are going to be coming, in this golden era of lawsuits that's going to be coming, the golden era of Legal AF on the MeidasTouch Network. Truth is golden. You can see I'm stealing back a phrase that I heard over and over again ad nauseum during the confirmation hearings, obviously given to them by the Trump wranglers, all the nominees. It's the golden era of the Treasury Department. It's the golden era of the Department of Justice. You know where it's the golden era? It's here. Truth is golden. MeidasTouch and Legal AF. That's the golden era that you should be focused on. Back to TikTok. What do you do? That means the social media apps and the technology companies who are again on the lap of Donald Trump during the inauguration, literally sitting in the VIP section that used to be reserved for like family and former presidents. But a lot of them are saying, yeah, I got something else to do Monday. Sorry, let me check my calendar. Nope, not free. Like Michelle Obama. I love Michelle Obama in so many ways and for so many reasons, including that she's not going to the inauguration. But he's got all his techies that run all of the app stores sitting next to him. So if you're a Apple and you're running the Apple store, Do you risk the federal law that the incoming president has said he's not going to enforce? Do you take down the TikTok app? Or do you leave it up because it's going to be a law in the books that's not enforced? There's plenty of laws on the books, by the way, that aren't enforced. But, that's they probably do. What's the risk? Donald Trump said you think Donald Trump is going to have his Department of Justice or his Federal Communications Commission, his FCC, or his Federal Trade Commission, or any of them go after to try to enforce the ban that he doesn't want to enforce? But I don't think Joe Biden, this is not a criticism of Joe Biden. There's a lot he can do and has been doing over the last 2 months, in the last 24 hours. Just today, I just did a hot take about another, 2,500 sentences being commuted for nonviolent drug offenders to equalize and fix the disparity between black and brown drug use and white drug use in prisons and sentencing. So he's got a lot he can still do between now and Sunday, but how is he going to really realistically and logically enforce the law in 12 or 24 hours? So he's not going to.
January is all about fresh starts, and it's time to swap out the skincare products weighing your skin down in favor of a regimen specifically proven to transform your skin at the cellular level, something today's sponsor OneSkin knows all about. Their products are powered by OS1 proprietary peptide that the four founders, who are all skin longevity scientists, developed after testing over 900 other peptides. It's scientifically proven to switch off the aging and the dysfunctional cells that cause lines and wrinkles and thinning skin. Not only that, OneSkin's products are packaged with nourishing ingredients like andiroba oil, Brobanco, and moringa seed extract to naturally boost collagen, reduce inflammation, and protect skin from environmental stressors while being free of unnecessary irritants like sulfates and fragrance. If you're ready to detox your routine and improve your skin health and look your best from head to toe, go to oneskin.co and use code MISTRIAL at checkout for an exclusive 15% off your first purchase. Make 2025 the year you invest in the habits that keep you and your skin healthier at a cellular level. I've been using OneSkin now for over a year and a half. People are often surprised that my real age is 58 years old and they think I look younger than that. And I think it's because of my skincare regimen, and I'm so happy to have added OneSkin to that. I feel like it really makes me feel better and look better and stay younger looking. So this is a great company that I am proudly sponsoring. It's founded by and led by an all-woman team of skin longevity scientists. OneSkin is redefining the aging process with their proprietary OS1 peptide, the first ingredient proven to help skin look, feel, and behave like its younger self. Get 15% off with code MISTRIAL. It's MISS trial at oneskin.co. There's no M at the end there. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code MISTRIAL. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about OneSkin. Please support our show.
But it makes it, this is the good part. This is the cunning craftiness of Joe Biden, the politician. It sets up the Democrats really well for the midterm elections. Everything that Donald Trump undoes that Joe Biden did is something we can use as political capital in the midterm elections against the Republicans, against MAGA, against Trump, on our way to crushing them in the midterms and the next presidential election. Everything that he has to use political capital, Donald Trump, to look the American people in the eye or be a coward and not look them in the eye and say, no, I'm not enforcing that. I'm commuting that sentence. I'm pardoning that guy. I'm telling the SEC to stop going after Elon Musk. I'm pardoning Mayor Adams in New York for his corruption scandal. Everything he does that we're forcing him to do is a political hand grenade that we can use against him. And so it's a good move to make Donald Trump publicly state that he's in favor of the Chinese party running ultimately a security scam within the United States called TikTok. And I want to make it clear, I am not anti the concept of TikTok. I get that it's a beautiful community and everybody is loving over there. It's amazing creative content makers, including some that are affiliated with the MeidasTouch network. And I hear you. And if it wasn't owned ultimately by the Chinese Communist Party, I would be more supportive of the ownership structure, not the concept of TikTok, if you can get that part. Now, the law of unintended consequences, I'll end the hot take with, because creators be creators, and they be creative, and they know where to go. And they searched and they found very quickly that there was a very similar TikTok-like platform in China run by a Chinese company in Shanghai. Shout out to Shanghai. I was there a number of years ago with a good friend of mine. It's called Rednote. I mean, it's Chinese, but it's translated to Rednote. But it's really a play on Chairman Mao's communist little red book that all the communists still have. I think they got to have it in their backpacks around. Now, the youth and the others that are on Rednote are now they're being inundated with incoming, right? They're now importing American content makers who have found it in the last month or two and are flooding Rednote with content. And of course, there's a little bit of cheeky snarkiness among youth in that genre. They're saying, the outgoing American content creators are saying things like, "I'm going to miss my Chinese spy operative that used to watch my videos or my TikToks," and now they're being welcomed on the other side by people about their age who are saying things like, "Well, you might have to pay a tariff or a tax on the way in. You have to show us a picture of your cat," sort of stuff which I love, by the way. I love that part of it. And I've always said there's an old saying, which is absolutely true. People have more in common. City people who live in cities around the world have more in common with each other than they do with country folk in their own countries. So somebody in New York has more in common with somebody in Shanghai than they do with somebody in our rural parts of America. They just do. And that is, you're seeing that writ large in the flood, the exodus to Rednote, to mix biblical metaphors. And so I'm going to continue to follow it all. Here's the updating that you can expect. When the Supreme Court rules, or if they rule before Sunday. What happens after Sunday, after the inauguration, with the TikTok ban now in Donald Trump's hands. How the Democrats can use that effectively as a political hand grenade against Donald Trump and MAGA at the midterms and beyond. That's what we're watching with Joe Biden emptying the tank. The more he does, right? Talk about building a wall of actions. The more he does, Joe Biden, the more Donald Trump has to undo, which wastes his time, his resources, his political capital, ties him up, ties him down, and helps run out of time, ultimately, to implement his own 2025 Federalist Society MAGA agenda. That's why we're doing it. That's why it's being done. I know people are like, he's doing it for political purposes. It also has the side benefit, everything that Joe Biden has done against Donald Trump in the last few days and months. It also has a side benefit of Trump-proofing democracy, Trump-proofing Biden's extensive legacy, domestic and foreign policy, and the rest. I'll follow it all. I'll bring it to you here. Number of ways to pick up me on Legal AF. Going full-time now on the MeidasTouch Network since the election. Got no choice. Popak Live, a new podcast, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the MeidasTouch Network. We're getting an audience of almost 500,000 a week. It's going to be a podcast, a full-blown podcast in about a month or two. It's now video only. Join me there, 45 minutes. I take questions. I give answers. I don't pull punches. I don't take any prisoners. Popak Live, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Legal AF, the old school, 5-year in the making top podcast at the intersection of law and politics. Be there for it. Wednesday nights, Saturday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're entering the golden era of Legal AF because that intersection of law and politics is going to be the hottest of intersections and corners come Monday. Come Monday, and the lawsuits that are going to be flying fast and furious as we lurch from one constitutional crisis and abuse of power to another with Donald Trump. And we're here for it. And then, of course, Legal AF, the YouTube channel, Legal AF MTN for the MeidasTouch Network. Legal AF, we're building. We're doing about 40 to 50,000 subscribers a month. We've already hit 400,000 in our first 4 months on our march towards 500,000 in our half birthday. That's all because of you. We're humbled by it. I'm curating that channel. Join me on Legal AF, the YouTube channel. So until my next reporting on all things Legal AF, this is Michael Popak. In collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.